Item Number SCP-106 Object Class Keter Special Containment Procedures Revision 11-8 No physical interaction with SCP-106 is allowed at any time. All physical interaction must be approved by no less than a 2/3 vote from O5 Command. Any such interaction must be undertaken in AR-II maximum security sites, after a general non-essential staff evacuation. All staff, research, security, Class D, etc., are to remain at least 60 meters away from the containment cell at all times, except in the event of breach events. SCP-106 is to be contained in a sealed container comprised of lead-lined steel. The container will be sealed within 40 layers of identical material, each layer separated by no less than 36 centimeters of empty space. Support struts between layers are to be randomly spaced. Container is to remain suspended no less than 60 centimeters from any surface by ELO-IID electromagnetic supports. Secondary containment area is to be comprised of 16 spherical cells, each filled with various fluids and a random assembly of surfaces and supports. Secondary containment is to be fitted with light systems, capable of flooding the entire assembly with no less than 80,000 lumens of light instantly, with no direct human involvement. Both containment areas are to remain under 24-hour surveillance. Any corrosion observed on any containment cell surfaces, staff members, or other site locations within 200 meters of SCP-106 are to be reported to site security immediately. Any objects or personnel lost to SCP-106 are to be deemed either missing or KIA. No recovery attempts are to be made under any circumstances. Note: continued research and observation have shown that, when faced with highly complex or random assemblies of structures, SCP-106 can be confused, showing a marked delay on entry and exit from said structure. SCP-106 has also shown an aversion to direct sudden light. This is not manifested in any form of physical damage, but a rapid exit into the pocket dimension generated on solid surfaces. These observations, along with those of lead aversion and liquid confusion, have reduced the general escape incidence by 43%. The primary cells have also been effective in recovery incidents requiring recall protocol. Observation is ongoing. Description: SCP-106 appears to be an elderly humanoid with a general appearance of advanced decomposition. This appearance may vary, but the rotting quality is observed in all forms. SCP-106 is not exceptionally agile and will remain motionless for days at a time, waiting for prey. SCP-106 is also capable of scaling any vertical surface and can remain suspended upside down indefinitely. When attacking, SCP-106 will attempt to incapacitate prey by damaging major organs, muscle groups, or tendons, then pull disabled prey into its pocket dimension. SCP-106 appears to prefer human prey items in the 10 to 25 years of age bracket. SCP-106 causes a corrosion effect in all solid matter it touches, engaging a physical breakdown in materials several seconds after contact. This is observed as rusting, rotting, and cracking of materials, and the creation of a black, mucus-like substance similar to the material coating SCP-106. This effect is particularly detrimental to living tissues, and is assumed to be a pre-digestion action. Corrosion continues for 6 hours after contact, after which the effect appears to burn out. SCP-106 is capable of passing through solid matter, leaving behind a large patch of its corrosive mucus. SCP-106 is able to vanish inside solid matter, entering what is assumed to be a form of pocket dimension. SCP-106 is then able to exit this dimension from any point connected to the initial entry point. Examples: entering the inner wall of a room and exiting the outer wall, entering a wall and exiting from the ceiling. It is unknown if this is the point of origin for SCP-106, or a simple lair created by SCP-106. Limited observation of this pocket dimension has shown it to be comprised mostly of halls and rooms, with Entry. This activity can continue for days, with some subjected individuals being released for the express purpose of hunting, recapture. Addendum. SCP Review Notes. Due to the exceedingly difficult to contain nature of SCP-106, SCP is to be reviewed every 3 months or during a post-breach incident. Physical restraints are impossible, and direct physical damage appears to have no effect on SCP-106. Current SCP, as of revolves around basic observation and immediate response. Previous, more proactive special containment procedures have been recalled due to the events of breaches and Notes on Behavior. SCP-106 appears to go through long periods of dormancy, in which it will remain completely motionless for up to 3 months. The cause for this is unknown. However, it has been shown that this appears to be used as a lulling tactic. SCP-106 will emerge from this state in a very agitated state, and will attack and abduct staff and cause gross damage to its containment cell and the site at large. Recall Protocol. SCP-106 appears to hunt and attack based on desire, not hunger. SCP-106 will attack and collect multiple prey items during a hunting behavior event, keeping many alive in the pocket dimension for extended periods of time. SCP-106 has no determinable limit, and appears to collect a random number of prey items during an event. The inner dimension accessed by SCP-106 appears to be only accessible by SCP-106. Recording and transmission devices have been shown to still operate inside this dimension, though recordings and transmissions are very degraded. It appears that SCP-106 will play with captured prey, and appears to have full control of time, space, and perception inside this dimension. SCP-106 appears. Recall Protocol. In the event of a breach event by SCP-106, a human within the 10 to 25 years of age bracket will be prepped for recall, with the compromised containment cell being replaced and restored for use. When the cell is ready, the lure subject will be injured, preferably via the breakage of a long bone, such as the femur, or the severing of a major tendon, such as the Achilles tendon. Lure subject will then be placed in the prepped cell, and the sound emitted by said subject will be transmitted over the site public address system. SCP-106 will typically begin to gravitate toward the lure subject within 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the subject. Should SCP-106 not respond to the initial broadcast, additional physical trauma is to be administered to the lure subject at 20-minute intervals until SCP-106 responds. Multiple lure subjects may be used in the case of major breach events. SCP-106 will typically enter a dormant state after finishing with a lure subject. In addition, subjects may Item Number SCP-372 Object Class Euclid Special Containment Procedures SCP-372 is to be contained in a cell 5 meters by 4 meters by 2 meters, lined with reinforced plexiglass. Embedded into each of the 4 walls of this cell will be one infrared motion detector. Feeding will take place once every 2 weeks, to consist of 1 kilogram of red meat and uncooked vegetables, to be deposited in its cell via chute. All guards working near SCP-372's cell must wear helmets with cameras mounted in the forehead, with live feeds to the nearest guard station. In the event of a containment breach, an alert will be sounded that all personnel should watch for any brief flickering movements in the corner of their eyes, and to report immediately if one is sighted. Description: SCP-372 is a creature of unknown genus, approximately 2 meters long from head to tail, and weighing approximately 45 kilograms. It has a long, thin body with 8 pairs of narrow limbs. Analysis has shown that its muscle fibers are allowing for extremely fast and precise movements. Every part of the body is abnormally flexible, and the limbs are coated with small fibers that cling to almost any solid surface. In place of eyes or ears, it has. This sensory organ is capable not only of echolocation, but also of detecting energy transfers, such as the electrical impulses in the brains of nearby beings. SCP-372 has learned to time its movements to those pulses, predicting the movements of any being around it. It uses this technique to hide, either by hiding behind the head of a person looking for it, or by hiding in their scotomas, blind spots, and saccades, clipping during eye movement. SCP-372 first came to the attention of the Foundation on when an undercover agent working at reported seeing a creature that resembled the described hallucinations of one of the patients, Mr. After thorough investigation, SCP-372 was captured via and it was determined that it had, for unknown reasons, been tormenting the unfortunate patient. It had confused him by periodically following him and remaining within sight of him, while hiding outside the visual fields of those around him, making him believe that he was hallucinating a monster no one else could see. Unfortunately, the patient had by this time actually become mentally unbalanced due to stress, and Log of tests on SCP-372. Test number 1. Participants: 2 D-Class personnel. Location: empty room, 6 meters by 5 meters by 3 meters. Test parameters: D1 was instructed to stand in the middle of the room, D2 in the corner. Both were to perform a visual search of the room. SCP-372 was released into the testing room. After 5 minutes, armed personnel entered and ushered SCP-372 back into its holding cell, and D1 and D2 were debriefed. Results: after 5 minutes, D1 reported no sighting, and D2 only detected a few brief flashes. Test number 2. Participants: 2 D-Class personnel. Location: empty room, 6 meters by 5 meters by 3 meters. Test parameters: D1 and D2 were instructed to stand in opposite corners of the room and make a visual inspection of the room once SCP-372 was released into the containment room. Results: after 5 minutes, both D-Class had sighted SCP-372 15 times, both at identical times. It is believed that SCP-372 was darting around in the spots where the blind spots in their vision overlapped, and occasionally had to break cover and dart into another one when one area was no longer overlapping. Test number 3. Participants: 4 D-Class personnel. Location: empty room, 6 meters by 5 meters by 3 meters. Test parameters: D1, D2, D3, and D4 were instructed to stand in the 4 corners of the room and watch SCP-372. Results: approximately 1.5 seconds after SCP-372 was introduced into the testing area, D3 shrieked and collapsed, spurting blood from a wound on his that seemed to have spontaneously appeared. D1, D2, and D4 abandoned their stations and ran for the locked exit. D4 began pounding on the door before he was also injured, losing one. D1 and 2 retreated into one corner, D1 curling up into the fetal position, while D2 stood absolutely still. No activity was reported for the remainder of the 5-minute test. When the test was ended, D3 had expired, D4 required surgical, and D1 and D2 were not physically harmed. None of the surviving test subjects reported seeing SCP-372 at any time. Notes: aside from what it did to that mental patient, this is the first time it's actively harmed a person. D3 didn't really have time to do anything to piss it off either. Did it just get hungry? Signed, Dr. Addendum. Anyone pranking nervous personnel by pretending to see SCP-372 in front of them will be severely reprimanded. Item Number: SCP-1351. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1351 is contained on site under the cover of a bat sanctuary, with a standard perimeter fence and signs warning away unauthorized personnel. The permanent security team is to be covered as United States National Park Rangers and/or civilian speleologists. The access road to the entrance of SCP-1351 is to be marked Authorized Vehicles Only, to match nearby public roads, which are not open to the general public. Personnel within SCP-1351 are to follow standard subterranean safety protocols. All personnel must operate in groups no fewer than 4, with each personnel equipped with at least 3 sources of light, one of which must not be dependent on batteries. In the event of a team member in distress, at least 1 individual must remain with the distressed individual, while at least 2 individuals must return to get help. Personnel must verbally inform at least 2 individuals, typically the Site Security Watch Officer and the on-duty research supervisor, of their intended destination within SCP-1351 and their intended return time, in addition to documenting their intentions in writing. Personnel must also carry sufficient food, water, and first aid equipment for twice their intended stay within SCP-1351. Any individual who becomes lost or separated should remain where they are and wait to be found. The current director of the United States National Park Service and the current Mammoth Cave National Park Superintendent are to be informed of the importance of maintaining containment. Further information related to either SCP-1351 or the Foundation is to be disseminated to these individuals only in accordance with need-to-know and written authorization of O5 Command. Due to the outbreak of SCP-EX, commonly referred to as White Nose Syndrome, or WNS, any persons entering SCP-1351 must submit to biological decontamination. No clothing, shoes, or personal effects which have entered other caves since 2006 are permitted to enter SCP-1351 to prevent the spread of fungal spores believed to be associated with SCP-EX. Prior to entering and after exiting SCP-1351, all persons must walk across nylon biosecurity mats saturated in a cleaning solution. For consistency, it is recommended the biosecurity mats and the associated solution match those used by the park. Presently, Lysol TMIC Quaternary Disinfectant Cleaner. This is in accordance with publicly released SCP-EX containment protocols, designated National WNS Decontamination Protocol, March 15, 2012. Description: SCP-1351 is a cave located within Mammoth Cave National Park in the American state of Kentucky. The main section of cave is approximately 30 kilometers long. No direct connections between SCP-1351 and Mammoth Cave have yet been discovered, though the possibility remains. Like most caves in the area, SCP-1351 appears to have been carved from Mississippian-aged limestone strata capped by sandstone. This has resulted in relatively few flowstone deposits. SCP-1351 is anomalous for 3 reasons. First, it is accessible through a dome in the ceiling of an otherwise unremarkable section of cavern, 125 meters underground. But this dome's height, roughly 750 meters, would require SCP-1351 to be well above surface level. In spite of the inconsistency, SCP-1351 seems to be subterranean. Foundation speleologists have not yet determined a satisfactory explanation for this phenomenon. Second, the interior of the cave only has a single surface, the floor, and a single boundary component, a wall. Over the course of the cavern's several kilometers in length, the floor wraps around to become the ceiling, while one wall wraps around to become the other. In this, it resembles a Mobius strip. Local gravity orients towards the nearest floor. A dark band in the rock wall shows the location of the boundary between the local gravitational fields. The cause of this unusual spatial warping is not understood at this time. Third, temporal anomalies have been observed in relation to SCP-1351, though no modern Foundation personnel are known to have experienced any such effects. For more details, see Addenda 2 and 3. These show no consistent pattern. Addendum 1. Modern History of SCP-1351. The cavern from which SCP-1351 is accessible opened to the surface when a landslide in 1993 uncovered a natural entrance. SCP-1351 was most recently discovered in 1995 by National Park Service speleologists mapping the cavern to determine if it connected to the main cave system in the park. These scientists were subsequently seconded to the Foundation after a standard background check and non-disclosure agreement. 3 expedition teams surveyed the interior of SCP-1351 between 1995 and 2002, determining the cavern to be sufficiently safe for a permanent research presence. Research operations are now ongoing. Addendum 2. Expedition 1351-1925. On April 23, 2009, a team of 6 men and 2 women under the command of Major Mortimer S. Cornelius III emerged from SCP-1351. They were detained by Foundation security personnel. Interviews established that they were a team of explorers dispatched by the Foundation in August of 1925 and had only spent 18 hours within the cave from their perspective. Their clothing and equipment was accurate for the time period, and they possessed apparently bona fide documents supporting their assertions. However, as there is no record of any of the members of the expedition, nor of the expedition itself, and since SCP-1351 was not known to have been discovered until 1995, they are being detained indefinitely. For further information, contact Supervisory Special Agent Thomas at Site-19. Addendum 3. Discovery of Expedition 1351-2030's remains. On June 10, 2011, Foundation researchers discovered the remains of 4 adult humans in a pit in Section 07A of SCP-1351. These remains had been mummified and preserved by the calcium nitrate present in the cavern. Carbon dating indicated the remains to be in excess of 7,000 years old. One of the bodies had 2 broken legs, while another had a broken left arm. There was no obvious cause of death for any of the subjects. Subject 1. Male, 198 centimeters tall, black hair, facial bone structure suggests Caucasian ancestry. Antemortem compound fractures in both left and right tibia. Foundation-issued dog tags identify as Dr. Nicholas Lusk, serial number. Subject 2. Male, 186 centimeters tall, red hair, facial bone structure suggests Caucasian ancestry. Antemortem simple fracture in the left ulna. Foundation-issued dog tags identify as Dr. Lionel Dunbar, serial number. Subject 3. Female, 160 centimeters tall, black hair, facial bone structure suggests Japanese ancestry. No apparent injuries. Foundation-issued dog tags identify as Dr. Asuka Miyamoto, serial number. Subject 4. Female, estimated approximately 164 centimeters tall, head absent, incision located above C4 vertebra and occurred post-mortem. No identification located in vicinity of body. The bodies were clothed in uniform synthetic splunking coveralls, and equipped with gear estimated to be roughly equivalent to the level of technology expected to exist by the mid-2030s. Among the gear was a damaged camcorder with predictably dead batteries. Efforts to power the camcorder and recover the information documented have. Footnotes. SCP-EX is a disease affecting numerous species of North American bats, which has been confirmed in 19 American states and 4 Canadian provinces. Ongoing studies, both by Foundation and non-affiliated organizations, have accumulated increasing evidence that suggests it is caused by the fungus Geomyces destructans. The disease itself is not well understood by either the Foundation or non-affiliated scientists. Research continues. At present, there is no known treatment for afflicted bats, nor is there a known containment protocol capable of preventing transmission. The mortality rate varies by species, but has been observed as being as high as 95%. SCP-EX has not been confirmed to be present in SCP-1351. The related containment procedures are intended to prevent it from entering SCP-1351. What's up everybody? Lone Wolf here. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to tonight's video. In case anyone is interested, all of the various elements used in this video, including pictures, music, sound effects, and stories, will be linked in the description below. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, click the bell for notifications so you don't miss a new video. If anybody has any personal stories or story recommendations for me, or any advice to help improve the channel, there will be links to all of my social media platforms in the description. I'm mostly active on Twitter and on Instagram, but I also have an email, a Discord server, and a TikTok account that you can message me on as well. Until next time, stay spooky. And remember,
the hunt begins when the moon is full.